into it. So I'm going to be starting with paper 1. I hope it is clear enough for you to see, but I will be going through the questions regardless. All right. So number 1, as I said, this is a 2015 June past paper question. Number 1, Lloyd invited his mother to live with him and his wife and 2 sons. The new family structure would be termed as what? Now, the first thing that you need to do with this question is to identify the family members. So, the first thing, you have Lloyd's mother, you have Lloyd, you have Lloyd's wife, and you also have his sons. Now, once you can easily identify the family members are listed in this question, you can easily identify the family type. Now, a family that consists of more than 3 generations living together is considered to be an extended family. So the answer is extended. All right. And let me go through the 3 generations. You have grandmother, that's Lloyd's mother. You have Lloyd and his wife, and you also have the children. All right. Number 2, which of the following are aspects of socialization progress? Let me go again. Which of the following are aspects of the socialization process? Now, we know that socialization means interaction. That's the key word, interaction. Now, looking at the activities below, the options you have, religious teaching, reproduction, and recreational activities. Now, religious teaching means you have some form or some level of interactions. It entails you having a communication, you expressing your thoughts, whereas the other person is also expressing their part. So you know for sure that this is one of them. Second one means reproduction, meaning child rearing, having kids. This so much is not really speaking about socialization. So you put an X beside it. You just weigh them out. Recreational activities, this means anything. Going to the movies, going to the park, going for hiking. This entails interaction with other persons. So once you can flesh out all of the factors, you can easily identify what the answer is. And the answer is B, 1 and 3 only, because it speaks about socializing process. All right. Number 3, which of the following is not a typical feature of a low-income families in the Caribbean? Now, the key term is not, meaning all of the options are features of a low-income family except for one. So you're going to go through the question, go through the answers, and analyze them as best as possible. So the first thing you need to do is try to identify the answers which would be the features of a low-income family. So we know that some low-income families, their homes normally lack educational facilities, meaning they can't afford to buy it. You know, typical computer, the laptop, the internet. You know, some households cannot afford to sustain themselves with the technology or the resources needed. So they rely heavily on school. So you know for sure that this is one factor. The second one, they often have a large number of children, and that is a fact. Simply because they're not so much of educated to know about contraceptives or family planning methods, they tend to have, you know, a lot of children in this family. So you know for sure that this is also a factor. The third one, the children are often the economic contributor to the household. Now, this one is a bit sticky because when you look at this, when you look at option D and option A, you're saying that it could be either one. No, the truth is children should not be working. So it cannot be D that children should be contributing. Though we have children that work and assist their parents in providing the basic necessities, it should not be that way. So the answer for this question is A. They are usually self-sufficient. Now, self-sufficient mean, sorry about that. Self-sufficient means not have to rely on anyone for help. You can take care of yourself, you can take care of others without the help of anyone. Now, in families that have low income, you have to rely on somebody at one point in the life. So this is the answer. They are usually self-sufficient. They're not self-sufficient because sometimes they do rely on the help. Even with the low income families, you do have government organizations or agencies that, help these families, providing the child or children with a meal at school, when it comes on to certain resources, they will provide it. So the answer is A. All right, let's move on to number 4. Maxine Lewis lives with her unmarried mother, and father. The union between her parents can best describe as, and as you understand the term, the first thing you underline, the unmarried. Now, if they were married, it would be called a legal union, legal. So the answer for this is a common law relationship. All right, so the answer is C. Number 5. Which of the following is likely to be a concern for adolescents in the family? All right, so let me go ahead and repeat it again. Which of the following is least likely to be a concern for adolescents in the family? Now, as I said, a good way to find your answer is also to go through the ones that don't make any sense to the question. So you try to terminate what could not be the answer. And then you're going to have the last 2 ones that may give you a little buzz when you start to think about it. All right. A, coping with their emotional problems. B, communicating with adults in the home. C, providing financial support for the home. D, balancing academic and social activities. Now, by now you would realize that all of these can be a concern for an adolescent in the family. But the question says, which of the following is least likely? And I will go back to the number 3 question when I say that children should not provide for themselves. That's not the basic function of the family. Parents are responsible for providing for their children. So the answer would be C, providing financial support for the home. No child should be thinking about how I'm going to go to school, how should I pay this bill? No. Their primary role is to go to school and get an education, not to provide financial support for the home. So, as I said, all of these can be a concern for the adolescents in the family, but it speaks to which one is the least, which of the following is the least likely to be a concern. And the answer is providing financial support for the home. All right, moving on. Number 6. In the Caribbean, fathers have accepted more responsibility for child rearing, mainly because of the A, early death of mothers. B, increase in the divorce rate. C, high unemployment rate of fathers. D, increase in the number of working mothers. No, mainly. Let's go through the question again, see if we can flesh it out. In the Caribbean, fathers have accepted more responsibility for child rearing, mainly because of the following. Now, all of the following can result in the father being a child rearer, but which one of them would be the main one in which the father would have to carry out this role? Now, you realize that you have an increase in women going out working, especially working in areas that are male dominant, for example, the constructions, going into the military and so on. So we can easily flesh out the answer and say that it is D. It is the increase of working mothers. This generation of females tend to want to work more, be independent, provide financial support to their family. So the answer is D. All right, let's move on to number 7. Which of the following best explains the promotion of family planning in the Caribbean? Now, the first thing you need to try to figure out in this question is, what is family planning? Now, once you know the concept of what family planning is, you can easily identify what the answer is. Now, let's go through the option. To ensure a balance in numbers between male and female. So for sure, you know that this is not the answer. So you put a little X beside it to cross that one off. B, to teach parents to supervise the activities of their children. It's the same, you cross that out. C, to allow persons to have sexual relationships with chosen partners. Now, between C and D, you will have the distractor and the answer. So between C and D, this is where the answer lies. Let me go through D. To give parents control over the number and spacing of their children. So let me repeat that. D, to give parents control over the number and spacing of their children. Now, let me go to C. To allow persons to have sexual relations with chosen partners. Yes, when it comes down to family planning, you have to be vigilant of the person you choose to have a child with, but it does not speak mostly about that. It speaks mostly about giving parents the control of deciding how many children they want to have, when they want to have it, and how they choose to do this. So the answer is D, to give parents control over the number and spacing of their children. Number 8, and we're now at the final question for the multiple choice. Which of the following would undermine the authority of parents in the home? And we know what authority means: being in control, having control. Now, these are the options: setting and enforcing clear rules of conduct. That's A. B, inconsistency in rewarding and punishing children. C, giving cash allowances to adolescent family members. And D, allowing children to participate in family decision making. Now, it says, which of the following would undermine the authority of parents in the home? Now, the answer would be in B. Inconsistent in rewarding and punishing children. Now, if your child does good, you reward them. If your child does bad and you don't want them to carry out the act of doing that bad again, you have to punish them. And in order for this to work, you have to be consistent. So the in front of the consistency is what gives the answer. Because look at it. If your child knows that for sure, if they should break a rule in the home or generally, they know that if they do something that they're not supposed to do, they're going to be punished for it. Chances are the child will not do it. So if you're consistent in punishing the child whenever the child does wrong, then the child won't do it. But if you're inconsistent, meaning you know the child would have created or done something wrong, and you turn a blind eye to it, the child will continue until the child does not care. So the answer for this is inconsistency in rewarding and punishing children. All right, so let's move on to paper 2, and this is also June 2015 past paper. We're just going to be looking at question 1, part A and part B. So we're just going to be fleshing them out as best as possible. Now, when it comes on to paper 2, persons tend to not want to write because they're afraid of the writing, and they may be fearful that their opinion is wrong. Now, once you can give clarity as best as possible, you will earn a point. Now, another factor to look at is to look clearly at what the question is saying. So read the instruction as best as possible and look at what the question is actually asking you. Now, let's look at number 1. Define the term incest and give one example. Now, once you hear the term define, you know it's basically asking you, what does it mean, right? Now, you're just going to write the statement of what incest defines and also give that example. Now, incest is the sexual relationship between family members, and that's the answer right there. It didn't say explain, it says define. That means you're just stating the answer. And the example is, if it is between family members, you can easily say, for example, brother and sister, cousin and cousin, father and daughter, mother and son. Those are some examples of incest. All right? Now, let's look at, we're still looking at A, but we're looking at part 2, which states, state 2 effects that incest may have on a family. Now, realize the key word, state. It's asking you to just speak on it, but not to explain it. So just write it. What are the effects of this? Now, one of the effects of incest is that it creates a traumatic experience for the victim, especially if this is a child, especially if the child is being forced to take part in this act. That is one effect. I did not explain it, I just give an example. All right. Another effect, it's that it may conflict with the victim's values and morals, and they may believe that the act is okay. All right? Remember, it's a statement. You're not explaining it. Also, I can give you another effect. Persons that fall as victims may also go through depression, anxiety, and may turn to drugs, prostitution, or alcohol use. And that's a statement. And that's answering part B, because you're just stating, it did not say explain. Now, B. So we're finished with 1A. We're now looking at 1B. All right. So the question states, explain 2 ways in which a family socialize its members. All right. So let me repeat the question again. Explain 2 ways in which a family socialize its members. So now you're going to provide an explanation. You're going to discuss whatever you would have written for this answer. Key term, explain. So you may list your points and you say what it means. So you're not just going to state it and just leave it blank. You're going to explain it. Now, 1 way in which the family socialize its member. All right. Teaching children the acceptable behavior. All right. That is me just stating it. Now I'm going to explain it. When parents model the correct behavior for their children, it provides the children a chance to adapt to that behavior. So they can easily say that, okay, this is wrong and this is right. So teaching them the acceptable behavior, but also carrying out the act. So in the household, when someone gives you something, you say thank you. When you're asking for something, you say please. When you're closing the door, you say excuse me. Before you enter a door, you knock and you wait until you're addressed. These are acceptable behaviors. All right? So that's explaining it. And everybody's explanation will be a little bit different because the truth is we are programmed to think different. Nobody is the same. We do not think the same. All right? Way 2. All right, so this is my second point that I will explain. Being there for them emotionally. But what does that mean? Now, I am going to explain it. When you're there for your family members in their times of need, it provides a sense of belonging, a sense of love, a sense of being cared for. And when you provide that emotional support and that family member sees it, it's a consistent thing that you will do, being there for them emotionally, they will easily adapt to this. They will know that this is the right way in doing this. So, for example, you come home from school and mommy realizes that you're not laughing, you're sad, you're down, your face is down in the phone, you're not smiling, you're not talking to anyone. Automatically, she's going to know that something is wrong. What do you think mom is going to do? Just turn a blind eye to you? No. Provide some emotional support. She will say, John, how do you feel? Why do you look so sad? What happened today? How was your day at school? Help them to get through that little path because we do all go through some stages of where we feel like we're on an island by ourselves, but the family teaches us to be there for each other, especially throughout emotional aspects. So being there, providing the love, providing the care will teach persons how to react in the outer society. And your explanation is through. Now, a tip before I leave is to always try your very best in explaining the question as best as possible. Nothing is wrong with your opinion. Opinions can be right and it can be wrong, but it's good to be expressive and to just write flowingly. All right? Now, this is now the end of this video. I thank you very much for watching, and I hope